Happy Wednesday, everybody. Once upon a time, I lived in this place called Wisconsin, where you can find cheese and beer and Packers, whatever Packers are. I'm a fan of the Packers, I promise. I even have a sweatshirt. But anyways, once upon a time, while I was in Wisconsin, there was a priest named Father Dennis who needed a ride to the hospital. Like, nothing urgent or anything. He had an appointment. They were going to do surgery on his eyelids, because eyelids are important. This is kind of an aside. Leading up to the surgery, other people that also knew Father Dennis used to ask me, "Oh, how's Father Dennis doing?" And I said, "Oh, he seems to be doing great," and all that. And eventually I asked Father Dennis how he was doing as he was preparing for surgery, and he said that he was really nervous because you can go blind with this surgery. And I said, shoot, I should have asked all those people that were asking about you for prayers or something. They expressed concern. But anyways, back to the story. I was going to bring Father Dennis to the hospital, drive him there and back. And also I invited along a friend named Stasia to accompany me on the trip. So everything's pretty straightforward at this point. Day of surgery comes, Stasia and I and Father all head to Green Bay to drop him off at the hospital. And on the way there, he insists that he's going to treat us to lunch. He can't be there for lunch because he's going to be in surgery, but he wants to buy us lunch to say thank you for driving him to the hospital. So he asked us, where do we want to go for lunch? And Stasia and I are really bad at making decisions. I hate decisions. Do you hate decisions? So a lot of humming and hawing and all the rest. Father Dennis recommends some places, and I don't want to make a decision. Stasia, do you want to make a decision? Eventually, we decide on this place called Cheesecake Heaven. I think it's called Cheesecake Heaven. It's not Cheesecake Factory. I know that. That's a different place. I should look these things up and get my facts straight before I tell stories. Oh well, it's fine. So there you have it. It's still pretty straightforward. We go to the hospital, we drop Father Dennis off, and then Father Dennis hands me his phone and his wallet because he trusts people more than I can. And he says, yeah, I won't need these in here. Take care of these for me. And use the wallet to buy yourselves lunch. So I have a priest's phone and wallet in my hands. Somebody believes I'm a good person. That's what that means. Thank you very much. So Stacia and I go to Cheesecake Heaven, or whatever it's called. And of course, you know, a cheesecake place is a great place to go for lunch. They also serve sandwiches. I got something with like mushrooms and meat, and I think it had some sort of fruit. Maybe not. I don't know. This poor mind. So Stacia and I decide what we want for sandwiches, and we go up to the cash register, and we say, hey, we want these 2 sandwiches, yada yada. And she says, okay, that'll be this much. I hand her the card from Father Dennis's wallet, and she rents the card and says, I'm sorry, sir, this card is expired. Do you have another card? And I think, oh crap, I wasn't prepared for that. So I start rummaging through Father Dennis's wallet that I'm not super acquainted with, because why would I be? And I'm trying to find another card. I pull out an AARP card, which is not a credit card. I still don't know exactly what it is. I think it's something to do with... I should look this up. Don't worry. I know a great many things. What AARP is not one of those things. And at this point I know that I really can't pretend that this is my wallet anymore. So I start talking out loud, and I talk about how, oh, I'm sorry that this is confusing, this really isn't my wallet. But I go on to explain, you know, because Father Dennis is this man that we know that needed to go to the hospital, and he's treating us to lunch with his wallet. But he's not here. I'm not sure if she bought that or not. She certainly didn't look totally convinced. That all being said, she accepted the next card that I gave her, and, you know, it all worked out. She gave us a receipt, and we sat at our table and waited for the food to come. And a thought was lurking in the back of my head. I wonder if she's going to call the cops, because she might think that we're committing fraud. Which we almost are. Are we committing fraud? I don't know. I don't think so. Whatever. So anyways, we enjoy our sandwiches, which were delicious. Stacia had a pulled pork thing, I think. I remember better what Stacia had than what I had, but I liked mine better. I do remember that. But anyways, we finish. We actually decided to go get some coffee, and I pay for that out of my own pocket. And at that point, she seemed to trust us again, because I was paying with my own money. And then we go to pick up Father Dennis from the hospital. And that was a day. And we drive home, and at some point I give back Father Dennis his wallet and his phone and all that, because I'm responsible. And I also give him the receipt and say, Father, just in case you'd like to keep receipts, this is a receipt for you. And he says, well, did you pay with cash? I don't need it if you pay with cash. And I said, oh, that would have made so much more sense. No, I didn't pay with cash. That would have been much less awkward. And then after that, everything wound down. And that's the story of how someone suspected me of identity theft. I still kind of wonder if she should have, like, from her perspective, called the cops on me. Like, honestly, if you notice someone doing identity theft, do you cause somebody, or do you just tolerate it? Is that part of our culture now? This is going down a trail that I don't want to go down. Okay, that's all I got. God bless you and ciao. So how do you like this place that I'm using to record? Isn't it beautiful? This is not my stuff. This is my dad's stuff. He's making a wooden clock, which I think is pretty cool. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to some people in Wisconsin that stole my heart, specifically the youth group of Holy Family Parish that I worked with this past year. Just a bunch of high schoolers that are fantastic, namely Ashley, Elena, Claudia, Helen, and Tyler. Tyler, thank you for being another guy in that group. Yes. They're a brand new youth group. They're a great group. They're growing, I hope. Find more people, I hope. And also a huge shout out for all their parents, because although I interacted with the high schoolers more than I interacted with their parents are pretty awesome too. Just great people. Great people. Okie doke. I think I'm done humiliating myself now. Bye.